Chosen ones. Listen closely, for your body is currently speaking a language your mind has yet to translate. You may not realize it yet, but the shift has already begun. Most people believe the new moon arrived and departed, leaving nothing but a quiet sky. They are wrong. What truly matters didn't happen during the moon's absence. It began the moment the moon started to return. This time, the energy didn't dissipate. It stayed active, and right now, your biology is reacting in ways you cannot logically explain. Have you noticed your hunger arriving at bizarre, unscheduled hours? Is your body holding a strange tension in the shoulders or jaw for no clear reason? Are emotions surging through you like a sudden tide, even when your external environment remains unchanged? These are not accidents. These are not glitches. These are biological signposts. What started in the cosmos didn't stay in the stars. It moved into your marrow. It is currently rewriting how you live your day, how you breathe, and how you exist. But before I reveal why your body knows the truth before your mind does, you must seal your physical alignment. Like this video right now to signal to the great architect that you are listening to your vessel. In the comments below, I want you to type the code BODY 2026 to anchor your energy to this physical shift. Type BODY 2026 to declare, I trust what I feel. My body is awake. I am in perfect sync with the divine. Subscribe to the Holy Days, for as the integration deepens, these transmissions are your only biological manual. Ignore the noise of the masses who seem fine. They are simply numb. You feel the difference because you are activated. Your body is a high-frequency receiver, and it has already picked up the signal that daily life will never be the same again. Deep down, you already know why. The signal is internal. The old comfort is dead. Your new rhythm starts now. If you can truly grasp the essence of this internal transition, you are granted the invaluable ability to navigate it with profound, conscious awareness rather than overwhelming, reactive confusion. This understanding allows you to institute a deliberate, centered pause rather than reflexively lurching into an immediate reaction. You learn to genuinely listen to the burgeoning sensations instead of frantically rushing to suppress, rationalize, or immediately fix the unfamiliar, uncomfortable feeling. Often, that singular, mindful suspension of external action is the decisive factor, the crucial beat that protects you from committing to a trajectory or decision that no longer serves your highest purpose or deepest truth. This profound internal shift is not driven by external fear or crippling anxiety. It is an acknowledgement of a much deeper, energetic reality. Life is subtly attempting to recalibrate your internal compass, gently nudging you toward a new bearing before it is compelled to employ a shock, a major crisis, or a devastating breakdown to finally get your undivided attention. Following this specific kind of energetic shift, particularly one catalyzed after a potent new moon cycle, the resulting experience seldom registers as one clean, simple feeling that can be easily labeled. Instead, it manifests in intricate, interwoven layers, resonating deeply in the neural pathways of the mind, stirring the profound well of the heart, expressing itself through the somatic architecture of the body, and whispering in that subtle, quiet space that is universally recognized as the voice of intuition. And what makes this particular period so exceptionally confusing is the paradox that many of these intense internal symptoms lack dramatic visibility from the outside world. You might still be commuting to work, diligently replying to professional messages, maintaining a polished demeanor, and engaging flawlessly in all your normal, expected routines. Yet inside, something feels distinctly and undeniably different. A slight, unshakable dissonance, a profound shift in internal gravity, an unsettling, almost alien unfamiliarity with your own emotional landscape. Let us begin by examining the domain of the mind. Many individuals report that their cognitive processes feel distinctly foggy during this period, not necessarily empty or depleted, but significantly decelerated, as if wading through dense ether. It is akin to experiencing your high-functioning brain operating at a measured, cautious walk, rather than its usual high-speed, multitasking sprint. You might experience minor, almost absurd lapses in memory, such as forgetting trivial daily details or losing the precise thread of a sentence mid-thought, only for it to return hours later. There are moments of strange temporal displacement, mini-dissociations where you find yourself staring blankly at your phone or a screen, having completely forgotten the initial, conscious reason for picking it up in the first place. And then, without any logical or sequential trigger, memories rise unbidden from the subconscious, not random bits, but seemingly insignificant moments from a decade past that hold unexpected new context. The forgotten face of an old acquaintance now carrying a quiet significance, or a major decision you once decisively shelved that now demands urgent, total reconsideration. Accompanying this mental surfacing is often a wave of quiet, persistent questioning. These are generally not the catastrophic, despairing cries of, "I hate my life, I must quit everything," but softer, more insistent, introspective inquiries. Is this path truly aligned with the vibrational frequency of my soul's deepest desire? How precisely did I arrive at this specific juncture, and was it through conscious choice or default programming? What genuine legacy or actual internal structure am I attempting to construct here? This combination can induce a peculiar state of being completely lost, yet simultaneously fully conscious, disoriented but keenly hyper-aware. It feels like standing at a metaphorical crossroads that is temporarily cloaked in darkness, instinctively knowing that the pavement beneath your feet is actively transforming into something new, even if the eventual path remains shrouded in shadow. Emotionally, this phase can prove even more destabilizing because the rules of linear reality often do not apply. Unprovoked sadness and inchoate sorrow may settle upon you without any attributable external cause. You could be performing a mundane activity, calmly washing dishes, taking a casual walk outside, or listening to familiar, comforting music, when suddenly a profound, unexplainable heaviness descends upon your chest. Some people report weeping uncontrollably, deeply and profoundly, and cannot articulate the source of their tears beyond a vague sense of release. Others experience the inverse, a frustrating emotional flatness, an acute distance, or a profound numbness, as if their entire affective life has been temporarily muted and quieted for internal maintenance. Paradoxically, even minor, almost trivial inconveniences can ignite sudden, sharp flashes of irritation. This is not the slow burn of explosive, justifiable rage, but a short circuit, a brief, sharp spike of annoyance that can catch even you off guard with its intensity. And the strange, unsettling part is that none of this turmoil may align with your visible, external circumstances. Everything may appear stable, successful, and perfectly functional on paper, yet your internal landscape narrates an entirely different, volatile, and deeply confusing story. This is because emotional currents operate outside the constraints of calendars, employment contracts, or linear logic. They are responding to seismic, underlying energetic shifts. During this intense phase, feelings that were politely, or sometimes violently, buried long ago begin to clamor urgently for attention, acknowledgement, and eventual integration.
Then we arrive at the body,
Often the first indicator that is tragically dismissed or overlooked by the conscious mind. Somatic symptoms can include a pervasive heavy feeling in the head, acute pressure settling behind the eyes, sometimes described as a crown chakra activation, or a constricting tightness in the chest that waxes and wanes unexpectedly, unrelated to physical exertion. Sleep patterns become notoriously unreliable and confusing. On some nights, restful, conventional sleep is utterly impossible to achieve. On others, you sleep profoundly deep, yet wake up with a distinct, unsettling feeling that you were elsewhere entirely, traveling astral highways, working or receiving critical downloads. Dreams intensify dramatically, becoming intensely vivid, powerfully symbolic, deeply emotional, and often highly confusing upon waking. You might retain minute, multisensory details of your dream narrative that would normally vanish instantly. Furthermore, some individuals report strange, persistent fluctuations in body temperature, feeling intensely, uncomfortably cold despite a warm environment, or conversely, overheating and sweating when the room is relatively cool. From a truly spiritual or energetic viewpoint, none of this is arbitrary. The body's architecture acts as the first, most sensitive receiver, processing deep emotional and mental reconfiguration long before the slower conscious mind can fully articulate or comprehend it. It is fundamentally the nervous system, integrating and learning entirely new, higher vibrational rhythms, a process that physically generates heat and demands significant energetic resources. And then there are the signals that refuse to fit neatly into scientific models or strict linear logic, the profound spiritual symptoms. This includes the striking phenomenon of seeing repeating numbers, sacred geometry or synchronicity on digital clocks, on transaction receipts, on license plates, occurring again and again until it is impossible to dismiss. You may experience sudden, powerful waves of intuition regarding specific people or complex situations, possessing an undeniable knowing, a sense of inner certainty without any shred of rational evidence to support it. There is a quiet, pervasive sense of being guided, gently overseen, or subtly propelled forward by a cosmic force far grander than your daily thoughts and anxieties. Some describe this as the universe actively paying attention. Others term it deep alignment or resonance. Many simply acknowledge that while they lack the proper terminology, the feeling of reality being highly charged is profound and unmistakable. Crucially, there can be a consuming, non-negotiable urge toward total identity metamorphosis. This extends far beyond superficial changes, like a new hairstyle or even a different career. It involves fundamentally altering your core role in the world, the way you introduce and define yourself, what you deem tolerable in relationships, and the very foundation of your most significant dreams. The way you habitually acted may now feel acutely uncomfortable, rigid, and deeply inauthentic, even if it was once second nature. The older, comfortable versions of yourself begin to feel profoundly restrictive, like a chrysalis skin that is perfectly good, but which you have definitively outgrown. All of these combined, often exhausting symptoms can lead a person to the deeply unsettling conclusion that they must be fundamentally flawed or suffering a nervous breakdown. Therefore, let me state this with absolute clarity. You are not broken.
You are undergoing
A necessary, powerful, and profound rewiring. Just as an entire house temporarily goes dark and silent while its foundational electrical system is being upgraded to handle a higher voltage, aspects of your being may feel muted, heavy, or unstable, while something entirely new is being installed beneath the surface. This does not indicate you are losing yourself. It signals that you are progressively coming into contact with a more integrated, authentic version of yourself that has not yet fully materialized into reality. And the most difficult aspect of this journey is the lack of a user manual. There is no pop-up notification stating, "System update in progress, please wait." There is only this strange, often exhausting amalgamation of physical fatigue, hyper-awareness, churning emotion, and unmistakable, powerful internal motion. If any part of this rings true for your current experience, please understand you are far from isolated. More individuals are navigating this process than you realize. They simply lack the precise vocabulary and the spiritual context for it. They might dismiss their symptoms as merely being stressed, profoundly bored, or generally confused. Yet, beneath those simplistic labels lies a profound, foundational movement shifting the very core of the self into its next rightful configuration. Sometimes, the most potent and long-lasting transformations commence not with exhilarating excitement, but with a quiet, persistent discomfort that gently educates you on the person you are destined to become. Most people encounter the word isolation and instantly associate it with a negative connotation: loneliness, emotional rejection, inherent weakness, or personal failure, as if withdrawing from the world unequivocally signals that something is fundamentally wrong with one's existence. However, during periods of significant emotional and energetic upheaval, isolation is not a state of collapse at all. It is a profound, proactive act of intelligence. It is the sophisticated nervous system requesting essential space so that it can reorganize, integrate new data, and recalibrate without continuous external interference, input, or judgment. This is not an act of fleeing from life's responsibilities, nor is it resignation or giving up. It is a vital defense mechanism protecting the delicate internal scaffolding of the self that is still in the process of formation. Think about the unerring wisdom of nature. When a caterpillar embarks on the journey to become a butterfly, it does not transform in the exposed open where it can be touched, judged, or disturbed by the elements. It deliberately retreats into a cocoon, not because it is flawed, but because the transformative, energetic process is simply too fragile to survive the constant friction of outside noise, external pressure, and relentless movement. The process unfolding within you during phases like this is remarkably similar. Outdated emotional structures are actively dissolving into energy. A new, heightened level of awareness and self-respect is quietly taking shape. Your instinctive reactions, your personal boundaries, and even your deepest desires are all undergoing a subtle, internal revision. And unfinished transformations do not require external validation or attention. They demand absolute, uncompromised sanctuary. This is why isolation during such periods can feel strangely restorative and profoundly comforting, even if a lingering part of your old programming registers a slight guilt for needing the space. It is analogous to your soul requesting muted lighting and locked doors while it meticulously rearranges its inner architecture. You are not becoming coldly distant from others. You are becoming acutely careful with yourself. You are becoming supremely precise regarding what kind of energy you permit to touch your nascent, sensitive self. The truth that many prefer not to acknowledge is that when a person's own emotions are unstable, their energy field becomes inherently unpredictable and often volatile. They are not intentionally evil, merely energetically uncontained. And unstable energy, like an infectious current, spreads readily through sympathetic resonance. Some individuals project their inner state without conscious realization. They carry loads of unresolved stress, latent fear, chronic disappointment, or perhaps quiet jealousy. And when they engage with you, they unconsciously offload this heavy burden. Suddenly, without intention, you find yourself defensively justifying choices you haven't even fully finalized, explaining intricate emotional states you barely comprehend yourself, and shouldering emotional weight that never truly belonged to you. Others drain energy more slowly through incessant complaining, repeating the same cyclical problems, seeking comfort, but exhibiting no sincere desire or commitment to fundamental change. You listen, you provide consistent support, and you absorb. Afterward, you feel inexplicably heavy, foggy, and physically exhausted for no clear logical reason. This is not because you are inherently weak, but because emotional labor exacts a substantial energetic cost, especially when your own system is already fully preoccupied with profound, complex internal recalibration. Then there are those moments where conflict materializes out of thin air. A perfectly ordinary sentence suddenly sounds sharp, loaded, and accusatory. A harmless jest quickly escalates into a fierce argument rooted in unsaid truths. A minor misunderstanding precipitates an emotional distance that persists far longer than logic dictates. During sensitive shifting phases, internal emotional reactions become amplified, far louder than any objective logic. Casual words stick much deeper. The tone of the interaction matters infinitely more than the literal content. Small wounds feel magnified into massive existential traumas. Isolation serves to shield you from this external volatility. It protects you from the powerful temptation of making hasty, permanent decisions, while your strong emotions are merely temporary guests passing through, not foundational truths upon which to build a life. It shields you from severing ties that may only be temporarily frayed, or from forming superficial attachments that exist solely to provide a painful teaching moment later on. It protects you from engaging in cyclical, karmic arguments that pull you back into emotional loops you have already intellectually surpassed, but not yet fully released energetically. And sometimes it simply protects you from uttering one tired, poorly chosen, reactive sentence that has the power to permanently rewrite the trajectory of an entire significant relationship forever. This necessary withdrawal does not require a dramatic, cold disappearance. It requires becoming intensely selective, a conscious curation of proximity with your limited, precious energy resources. There is a vast, crucial difference between a deliberate, healthy isolation and a destructive, unhealthy withdrawal. Healthy isolation is characterized by being gentle, deeply conscious, and understood internally as a temporary necessity. It is rooted in profound self-respect and self-preservation. You continue to care deeply for people, and you still hold immense love for them. You simply refuse to hemorrhage emotional energy for every single conversation or demand. You do not feel compelled to over-explain your needs, your fatigue, or your lack of availability to everyone who asks. You do not fling open every door simply because someone happens to knock. Unhealthy isolation, conversely, stems from crippling shame and deep-seated fear, from a belief that you are fundamentally unwanted, broken, or irredeemable. Healthy isolation arises from the secure inner knowing that you are currently valuable and therefore extremely sensitive, requiring protective measures. Silence in this context is not loneliness. Silence is essential space. It is the space necessary to re-establish and hear your own subtle emotional compass signals again, instead of being perpetually caught in the reactive noise of other people's needs and opinions. It is the space required to truly notice what you feel internally before you attempt to translate it into acceptable, palatable words for someone else's consumption. And rest is not a means of escape or laziness. Rest is the deepest form of necessary repair and integration. Sometimes, protection takes on a highly ordinary appearance. It looks like intentionally limiting your use of social media because watching the curated, glossy lives of others only confuses your own clear, inner direction. It looks like politely declining invitations without crafting elaborate, apologetic narratives, simply because your energy reserves are limited, and you have finally chosen to respect that vital boundary. It looks like intentionally keeping conversations lighter and significantly briefer, not because you are concealing something essential, but because you are listening deeply inward. It looks like choosing restorative sleep over protracted late-night emotional discussions and consciously prioritizing sustained calm over needless stimulation. These small, deliberate decisions quietly construct a powerful, invisible shield around your hypersensitive nervous system. And this shield is not selfish, it is absolutely necessary, because during phases like this, you are effectively carrying a version of yourself that is incomplete, a work in progress, a version that is still learning its new wants, defining what it will no longer tolerate, and establishing what kind of future resonates as truly honest and resonant. Unfinished things are inherently fragile. Seeds do not germinate faster if you frantically dig them up every day to inspect their progress. They flourish when they are allowed sufficient time alone, undisturbed beneath the earth, to become undeniably strong and ready for the light. Isolation is not the act of closing your heart permanently. It is the conscious, temporary act of closing the door while your heart safely rearranges its shape and capacity. And when you ultimately open that door again, you won't just feel different, you will respond slower, choose with greater wisdom and certainty, speak softer truths that resonate deeper, and walk away from draining situations without feeling the urgent need to explain why. Sometimes, the most profound transformation never announces itself with fanfare. It happens quietly, meticulously, while the rest of the world simply assumes you are just resting. Chosen ones. Listen closely, for a silent surge is moving beneath the surface of reality. While the masses live these next few days in a state of spiritual slumber, scrolling, consuming, and repeating dead routines, something quiet but devastatingly powerful is rearranging the very fabric of your existence. Between the energy of the recent supermoon and the lingering frequency of the wolf moon, we have entered a period of deep metaphysical integration. Since January 20th, the currents of your daily life have been permanently altered. You feel it, don't you? That subtle sense that things are no longer moving as they used to. This is not a mere change in your schedule, it is a divine recalibration. Moments that once seemed ordinary now carry a heavy, significant weight. Decisions that were simple before now hold a sense of meaning that vibrates beyond the familiar. You are being shown that you are no longer a passenger in this reality. You are the conductor of a frequency. The moon's shift is influencing the world in ways that remain invisible to the unawakened. But for you, the threads are becoming clear. The ripple effect, your thoughts, emotions, and interactions are sparking reactions that ripple quietly into the spaces around you. The intensity of exchange. Conversations now carry a weight that surprises you. Feelings flare unexpectedly during the simplest exchanges. This is the energy shift pushing the truth to the surface. Non-random patterns. Whether in your work, your family, or your private projects, the patterns emerging are anything but coincidence. There is a subtle orchestration at play, guided by cosmic rhythms that the sleeping world cannot perceive. The energy of the wolf moon continues to reinforce this current. It is acting as a silent coordinator, linking your individual growth to a much larger, collective pulse. You may notice that your decision-making flows differently now. Challenges that once felt frustrating are resolving naturally, as if the universe is providing a tangible recalculation of your path. In this window, repetition or habit is no longer neutral. How you approach a moment, how you treat a stranger, and how you observe the silence will decide the trajectory of your next chapter. You are moving from the matrix of habit into the timeline of intention. Small actions now carry an amplified resonance. A moment of patience, a spark of insight, or a simple gesture of kindness ripples further than ever before, shaping outcomes that will take days or weeks to fully reveal themselves. Chosen ones. Understand that within these current energetic flows, your presence has ceased to be an isolated element. Every fleeting moment and every micro-choice you make now vibrates with a massive, amplified resonance. This is a profound reminder of the sheer power of your intention and mindfulness. The 3D matrix has taught you to overlook the small things, the passing thoughts, the whispered words, or the seemingly insignificant gestures. In this window of activation, the universe is teaching us that every single piece of the puzzle is vital. Every time you choose patience over haste, listening over judgment, or kindness over indifference, you are not just altering that moment for yourself. You are broadcasting a high-frequency ripple into the collective field. The core lesson of this current is the absolute inseparable link between all things. Like individual drops forming a vast, infinite ocean, you are an essential part of a much larger flow of consciousness and energy. Collective healing. When you recalibrate your internal compass, you aren't just healing your own story, you are contributing to the healing of the whole. Vibrational radiance. When you elevate your frequency through gratitude, love, or peace, you become a living transmission of those qualities to the world, whether you realize it or not. The lighthouse effect. This is a call to step into your gentle yet powerful responsibility, to be the lighthouse for your own path and a beacon for those still navigating the fog. Do not mistake the current instability, the shifts in your routine, or the sudden reactions from your environment as signs of chaos. They are divine invitations to trust the invisible flow. When things do not go according to the old plan, how do you respond? Do you contract in fear, or do you open your heart to the lessons and guidance being revealed? The test here is your ability to release the illusion of control. Instead, place your absolute faith in the wisdom of your body, mind, and soul. They are being perfectly synchronized for the next stage of your evolution. True sovereignty is not found in controlling external events. It is found in the absolute mastery of your internal reaction. Ask yourself, in this exact moment, what frequency am I introducing into the world? Your answer will shape not only your personal experience, but the collective timeline you are helping to build. Embrace this phase as a sacred gift. Do not hesitate to listen to the whispers from within, the sudden flashes of intuition, or the emotions rising to the surface. They are your GPS. You are not merely a witness to these shifts, you are an indispensable architect of them. Your power resides in your awakened presence, in the way you choose to respond, the way you love, and the way you inhabit every breath. Trust that every step you take in this state of awareness is opening new portals, not just for you, but for the world around you. This is your time to shine, to explore the infinite depth of your potential, and to live with a sense of purpose greater than ever before. You are fully equipped to navigate these changes with grace and strength. The journey is unfolding, and with every conscious breath, you are harmonizing with the great rhythm of the universe, becoming a version of yourself that is more powerful, wiser, and more connected than ever. The portal of the Wolf Moon and the January 20th shift is now fully integrated into your field. To lock in this frequency and signal your readiness to lead in this new timeline, type 999 in the comments to represent the completion of the old cycle and your birth into the new. Like and share this transmission to expand the ripple of awareness. Welcome to the new Earth, Chosen One. Your light is the map.